Hello, and it's me again. I'm going to talk to you about another of my topics in my series of 50 and Fledgling. And today I struggled with which one of my topics to choose because I wanted to choose about fear and handling fear. I wanted to talk about change and how do you approach change. But I settled on finding balance. And why I chose that topic is because sometimes as professionals, and especially as women, balance may be something that sounds elusive. Because particularly as women, we have our children, we have our professional side, we have our families, we may have spouse, along with other obligations, maybe things that we volunteer to do, self-care, like I just came back from my walk, you see me a little flushed still. How do we fit all of that in? And for me, what keeps me stable or what keeps me feeling a sense of balance is my foursome. That's how I refer to my family. My husband, myself, our two children, my foursome. And spending time with them. And wherever we are together is balance for me. And while that is true, it may also not be as easy to focus on them when you have all these other things that tug at you, all these other responsibilities that tug at you. And so I reflect on how do you find balance? And for me, I think I got to appreciate finding balance and being with family more so when I first walked away from my job with the government, and I spent an entire year at home with my 4-year-old, and she was just starting preschool, and I got to participate in all that she was doing and all that she was learning and this new world that she was venturing in because she had just started preschool. Before that, I never really thought about how do you fit all of that in because I was still in a very professional mode. But that 1-year break made me be able to focus on that and value that. And so when I went back into the work world, I started making sure I claimed that. My first job after that 1-year pause was with an international agency, and you had your vacation days and you had what they called family days. And I made sure I used my family days. Summer, she would be doing swimming classes, so I'd make sure that I used those swimming days, split it up so that I can spend time with her at the pool and see her do her thing in the water. And that was very precious, even if it meant that it was just for a couple hours and then I would go back into the office, but I was able to do that. And that gave me a sense of balance. And the older I got, I realized that that became a stabilizing factor for me, sharing in her activities, because first she was our only child for 12 years, and then sharing in both their activities after our son came along. And now at 50, the children are growing, and my daughter is away at school, and my son is managing himself and being out of his zone. And so I start looking at self-care because I joked at my 49th birthday last year that it was the last uphill birthday because everything after that truffles down. And I was joking, but quite reflectively, in that everything else about your health and your life at that point is not automatic, that you have to invest in it, that you have to be conscious about it. And I was realizing that I had slacked off the self-care and the physical care of myself. And so we were seeing certain challenges, the back pains because you have a back issue, or the range of motion changing, things that were quite easy for you to accomplish. You end up breaking a sweat over, or you end up having to take a pause, or you're winded. And so finding balance also became needing self-care, moments for self-care. And so you try to develop a routine. But one of the things I've noticed is that it always requires you to refocus, because even as you try to develop a routine, life take hold, you move along, and you may neglect those things that has to be added to the wheel to achieve that balance. And so it's not just balance of self physically, it's balance mentally, Sorry, I stopped the video there because my dogs had started, and when they get animated, they really go. And so it becomes planning and insistence. So my routine to introduce balance now is not only about the children and the family, but I've started my morning walks. And then after my morning walks, at least once a week, I try to do this reflection and this chat. And then I'm still trying to feed into that routine, the reading, a bit of reading in the afternoons, or something that you want to read, or a book that you want to read. So 50 and Fledgling, balance, and how do you achieve that balance? What works for you? Enjoy your day. Hope you find your balance. Thank you for listening.